So, Jono, 90 minutes, finally defeated. What do you make of that? Because from our point of view, very disappointing.
So I had no problem with the performance whatsoever. In the first 5 minutes, if I've got my numbers right, Jordan misses a header, a sitter. Jordan has another chance where Kamani Miller crosses the ball in the first half and he puts it wide. They subsequently go up the other end, have a shot, Matt spills it, and they score. So we're well in the game. We then should get a penalty at 1-0. Somehow, off the back of us having a penalty on Rio Clegg, we contrived to be down to 10 men, with Jordan getting the second yellow card, who was clearly tripped. The disappointing thing for me is the referee mentioned Jordan Hume's name before the game, was talking about him in a jest, in a joking manner, that I didn't really understand, and it was almost like he kept going about WhatsApp groups that he's in, and I didn't really understand why he had to feel the mention, need to mention Jordan Hume's name. I didn't get it. So the boy picked up 2 yellow cards in the first, half an hour? 40 minutes, is it? So first half performance, I had no problem with. We went down to 10 men, we should have took our chances. We're not going to score 3, 4, 5 goals every single game, right? Let's be clear on that. We're a part-time side that tried to play and set up in a certain manner. Both sides have put everything into today on a pitch that's through no fault of anyone's. There was plenty of inspection before the game. It's just a heavy pitch that we've come on today and probably not been at our best, but not took our chances. Second half, I thought we were brilliant for the first 15 minutes. They couldn't get out of their own half. Listen, not naive enough to think some of that is because they allowed us to have the ball. We got into some good areas, really good areas. They scored on the break to make it 2-0. We then get in on goal. Somehow Rio Clegg ends up in on goal. Gets fouled, doesn't get a free kick, and then gets sent off for nothing more than getting up off the ground. Now, I'm asking you that. Did you see anything different to what I've just said? Did he do anything that deserved to be sent off or not? Because I didn't see it. I only used my eyes.
No, I saw the same in terms of John. I thought it was fouled. The one on Rio, it was a little bit more unclear in terms of there was a play that quickly went down. We were following the ball as it's obviously followed for the next phase. But I think, as you say, there's moments of sort of bright moments throughout that one. But I think it's difficult, given the scoreline, to sort of take any sort of joy or sort of any.
We don't. Yeah, it's nothing to do with joy. We've come to a tough away game. As I said, with the weather and the pitch not being the best, they won the game. They've won 3-0. Does that scoreline happen against 11v11? Of course it doesn't. Does that happen if we keep 10 players on the pitch? No, it doesn't. But as I said to you there, we can't keep having these exciting games where we come back and win games. We will lose games of football, but not for the want of trying. There's not a single player on that pitch there that didn't put 100% in. It just didn't happen. So what I'm not going to do is stand here, because I'm the first to call it out when we've not been good enough. But what it shows is that when we have players get sent off in subsequent games, that we've not had a good run. So when Lewis got sent off after the finals against Buxton, he's then missing for 2 or 3 games, big player. The problem I've got is when a man gets sent off, is then missing for the next, in Jordan's case 1, in Rio's case 3, for doing nothing. I'm stood. What I watched today was the assistant manager, I think he is, kick a puddle of water on the 4th official. Right? I somehow end up getting booked because I'm going, what? Who's in charge here? Is it the opposition manager because he's managed at a much better level than all the other managers in this league, and he talks in a certain manner with certain words? Is that what it is? Because it's certainly not for us. Because if that's me, I'm down at Wembley and I'm getting banned for that type of behaviour. The linesman didn't see what had gone on with Rio sending off. He's up the other side. He run off the other side of the pitch. The game's gone. We've all wondered what's going on. He then somehow gives the decision that Rio apparently stamped on him. When he let if he stamps on someone, he stood there waving his flag. Would we all agree with that? Yeah. So he didn't do that. He just carried on letting play go. So none of it sits right with me, if I'm honest. And I'm an honest bloke that calls a spade a spade. That's how I work. But what's going on today is unacceptable. Nothing will happen. I might get sanctioned. Opposition fans and other people might have a bit of a giggle at the interview, but I won't take for a minute that we were poor, and I won't take for a minute the performance out of our control of other issues. It's not acceptable. It's as simple as that. Now, it's dead important. I said this next bit. Did Peterborough carry themselves well in terms of the game, in terms of the game plan, in terms of winning the game? 100%. I thought some of their performances, Dan Jarvis, who came off with an hamstring injury, the left back Wood was outstanding. The experienced boy Stewart at centre half, they had some good performances there. So I don't want it to be I'm being bitter and we didn't deserve to lose. We deserve to lose the game. But I've tried to give you reasons, not excuses, reasons as to why that happened. Simple as that.
I think the good thing is that it's such a quick turnaround until next time out against Southport, and it's a good opportunity to bounce back as well.
Yeah, that's all next games are, aren't they? They're always an opportunity to go and get more points on the board. Tough game. We went to watch them against Chester a couple of weeks ago. They were fantastic. We've obviously played them twice in the FA Cup, and they were miles better than us in both of them games. And now we've lost the game and we're looking to bounce back. So it's a great opportunity for us on Tuesday night to try to perhaps rectify the result and the scoreline. But I've said to you every single week or every time I do an interview, there's only 3 outcomes in football: win, lose and draw. That's it, 3. So we lost today for the first time in 8 games, was it? First time in 8 games. We pull our big boy pants up and we go again, simple as that.
There's a few familiar faces missing from the squad: Michael Afue and John Taylor, to name a couple. Any update on sort of the extent of maybe their injuries or their absences?
They're both hamstring injuries. So we play with wing backs. We carry 3 wing backs. We rotate all 3, and all 3 are injured. I'm sure Peterborough had players missing today through injuries. I'm sure other players have been down the country. And we've just, as you saw, we had a 6'5" centre back playing at right wing back today. That's going to happen to us. We've not had many through the season, but that's going to happen. So Brad Jackson probably the other side of Christmas, maybe January. Mikey and John, with it being a soft tissue injury, it's just how they heal. And I don't. The answer is I don't know, but hopefully not too many games and too many weeks.
You saw at the end as well, the fans clapping away despite the 3-0 scoreline. Just a word on their travel down and what it means still, despite a disappointing afternoon.
Yeah, they travel. Listen, you've got to think about this as well. What we're in here, mid-November. We've been away to Merthyr, been away to Kings Lynn, been away to Kiddie, been away to Oxford, now been away to Peterborough. The amount of travel that we've done already, been up to South Shields, has been unbelievable. And the cost that the away supporters have to put into that in such a short space of time are big numbers. And we always believe, you don't have to look at our away record this year and the scores that we've had, we always put a performance on the pitch that our supporters can go away proud of. I'm hoping, I know they did because they stayed behind the claps, that they saw some of the events today and what went on, but what the players ultimately put in on the pitch, and that's 100% effort. So we've got an incredible support base that travels up and down the country. It's only small, but it's ours, and they give us everything. And it's dead important that we recognise that at the end of games, which is what we did. And the same to you guys, all the media guys, you 4 stood here. You travel up and down the country following your team, volunteering, and in some cases maybe get enough to buy a couple of cans on the way home, and that's it. But the work that goes in from everyone at this football club, Radcliffe FC has sat 4th in the National League North, or wherever we are now, to be fair. It's incredible times that we're going through at this football club, and that comes from the effort of a multitude of people. The kitman Paul, who does it for next to nothing, you guys, the supporters. It's an incredible football club to manage, and we're very proud to manage this football club. So when they travel halfway down the country and get beat 3-0, we're all gutted, we're all disappointed, but I can stand here and be mindful enough to say to them that everybody put 100% in. We finished the game with 9 men, we played half an hour with 9 men. It is what it is, but we'll bounce back and we'll keep putting performances that the supporters can be proud of, and we'll keep making noise in a league we probably have no right to be in terms of league position at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that word that you drew on there about bouncing back. Last time we suffered our last defeat against South Shields, there was that imminent response where we went the 8 unbeaten in the league, and we'll be hoping obviously to replicate that once again. But I just want to touch on sort of maybe the differences between this season and last season, where we're walking away feeling deflated or disappointed by any defeat. And I think it's important to note that, like you said, there was still that effort and endeavour from the lads as well.
And we might not bounce back on Tuesday, we might get beat again, and we might lose on Saturday. But what's funny to me as a football manager is seeing the response of bigger football clubs supporters when they lose a game of football. So I'll use the example of when we beat Darlow the other week 2-1, which put us 3rd at the time. there were plenty of supporters calling for Steve Watson's head to be sacked. We've seen that with Callum McIntyre at Chester. We've seen it with Paul Caddis at Hereford. I can only give my opinion on how football works. So if we use Darlington for a minute as an example of now where they are in the table, 5th, 6th, 7th, where it is, because they've gone and won 3 or 4 games on the bounce. That's what happens in football. But we get that emotional, and supporters are that tribalistic about a result that we forget that there's always opportunity to put runs together. We have bad runs, we have good runs. We have bad performances, we have good performances. But you've got to keep cool heads. The teams that don't put consistent runs together and don't end up having good seasons and do get relegated are the ones that aren't consistent enough and do lose their heads. That's football, that's the nature. It's why we love it so much, because you win or lose. And sometimes you get a boring draw stuck in the middle of it. But you lose games of football and we're all devastated. Feels like there's been a murder. We win a game of football, we all think we're going to win the league, and that's up and down the country, and it gets tiresome seeing it from football club social media sites. It's disappointing. We're very fortunate that doesn't happen because they can see what we're building at the football club, but it's dead important to understand that football changes very quickly, good and bad, just like it has for us. We've had an amazing start to the season. We've got to make sure we bounce back as soon as possible. If we don't, that's okay. There's still other opportunities to bounce back again. So, and that applies to every team in the country up and down. So it'll be what it'll be. We're enjoying our season. We're having a top time, a wonderful football club, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's about it's always important, isn't it, not to get too low when it does go wrong. But what my next question, sort of one of my last questions, is with the side probably feeling a little bit deflated and down, how do you motivate them to go once again on Tuesday and make sure that there is that reaction?
Well, it doesn't exist. There's no one deflated or unmotivated in there, demotivating in that changing room. There's people pissed off and mad at certain events. Absolutely. I've just asked 2 lads that are our players, and I might get this wrong and people might say it's wrong, and why I manage at the level that I do, but 2 lads I call friends, people that I care about and I love. Jordan, you remember your colleague. Did you dive? No, I didn't. Did you stamp on him? No, I didn't. I'm going to take their word, people that I love and trust, over somebody else's, right? That wasn't really looking at the event. They've told me that they didn't do that, so we've been hard done by, haven't we, today? If they're telling the truth to me, and I can only go off what they're telling me. So we've been hard done by, but there's no demotivation in there. People are fuming, people are pissed off at the result. Because we've been beat 3-0, regardless of where Peterborough in the league, doesn't matter. They've put a good performance in there, and which they're capable of. We watched the game against Chorley at home here and against Kiddie here, so they're a good side who are probably in the wrong position. But from my point of view, we're ready to go again because of what I've just said there. But there's nobody sat there wallowing. We're piss wet through, we're cold, we're miles away from home, hours away from home. We've got a game in about 60 hours, and that's it. We've got to get ready for that. But there's nobody demotivated in there. We know where we're going and what we're going to do.
And then finally, we've touched on it throughout, but our attention now turns to Southport. Have you got a message maybe for the club or the fans ahead of that one on Tuesday?
Do what you're doing. Send the message to the players. Don't change anything. There's no root and branch here. We've lost a game of football with 9 men. Happens. Done. We look at the league table. We see how well we're doing, and we get rid of it, put it in the bin, move on. Done.